welcome back to the check-in, guys. This is episode 4, and today we're joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Trevor Downham.
Oh, wow.
Thanks for joining us, Trev.
You're welcome, Phil. Thanks for having me.
Cool. We've got a lot of folk in the congregation, and you probably don't connect with a lot of them. So tell us a little bit about your history, where you were born in Rhodesia.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, Phil. Born back in the old days up in what was then Rhodesia. Had a fantastic upbringing. Just very rural, very sort of outdoor experience kind of stuff. Hated school, finished school nicely though. And then at that particular time, Zimbabwe, Rhodesia was involved in that bush war. So we all had to leave school and join the army, which I then did, and ended up spending 5 years in the army up there. And then at the end of the war, a lot of us who had been sort of professional soldiers had very little hope or anything else to do. So we, group of us decided we were going to go farming. So there's a great agricultural college up there. So we managed to scrape into this place and spent 3 years at agricultural college, just learning how to farm the land and start a new way of life and all of that kind of thing. During that period of time, Helene and I met, and we were married while I was at college. And
is that like a love at first sight thing?
Oh, totally. Helene nagged me to marry her. You know, she just pleaded with me, please marry me. Anyway, eventually I succumbed and married her, and she's an amazing lady. But we've been married for 40 years now, and this last year was our 40th anniversary. But during that particular time, there was a lot of the unrest that was happening with regard to the farming. Mr. Mugabe was starting to get mean on farmers. And so we kind of saw the writing on the wall. It was the early days of the kicking farmers off the land. But we thought that we would leave while we were still reasonably young. Came down here. Daniel was born up there. Came down, left Zimbabwe. We could obviously bring very little with us. And started life again in South Africa. And had to start all over again. I started with a farm management job down in East London. That didn't last very long. And we ended up in Johannesburg, just nowhere else to go. Ended up living with Helene's parents for a while. And then I got a great job working for Anglo-American, a team of guys looking after the Anglo-American executives in their home and their personal security. Loved that. It was an introduction into the big city life, which we'd never had. Never driven the big city. Didn't have a suit. Didn't have the right stuff. But it was fun, and those years were good. And then from there, I moved to De Beers, one of Mr. Oppenheimer's company. He was one of the guys that we used to look after, and was there for about 4 or 5 years, involved in cutting of diamonds and security of diamonds and all that kind of thing. We saved enough money during that period of time to go farming again. So we found a little farm down on the south coast at Port Edward. Just a very small little affair. We thought that this was going to be like early retirement. I was in my early 30s. And we thought that we were just going to... Anyway, different ideas. We had 3 years of terrible drought. And cut a long story short, we eventually lost the farm. But during that period of time, just became involved with the Margate Baptist Church. Mike Rutter was the pastor then. And just as a volunteer, started to work in the kids' church and the youth, and just loved it. And then one day, Mike and the elders approached us and said, well, why don't you just sell the farm and do this full time? Which we then did. Managed eventually to sell the farm, and thus began our journey into formalized ministry. We've always been in some form of ministry, whether it be youth or running kids' church in the churches that we've been at. But now we were in there, on a sort of more long-term basis. Loved kids ministry, loved youth ministry, still do. And we cut our teeth at Margate Baptist under Mike's leadership. So that was a lot of fun. And then after being there, I think it was about 4 years, we had a call to Norwegian settlers. And in those days, the church was just 50, 60 people, mainly senior citizens. And they were looking for a pastor. And so they approached us and said, would you like to come to us? And so we did. And that was 25 years ago.
It was 95,
so about 95. So we've been here ever since. But it was a great. We appreciate their faith in us. We had no experience in church at all, other than a few years of children's youth ministry. But they were a great congregation, phenomenal group of leaders and elders, or we used to call it church council in those days. And they supported us in all our ideas and all our different ways of doing stuff.
Yeah.
And we loved it.
Yeah.
But we've been here 25 odd years now.
Wow.
And through all the ups and downs, I've really loved it here.
Yeah. When you guys arrived, when you first came, it was just the chapel. Hey? There was none of this. The new
just the
building
chapel,
here?
and then our house where we live, and Errol's house. Errol's house was the Sunday school where the kids used to meet, and those were the only 3 buildings on the entire property.
Yeah.
Everything was just bush all around us.
Sure.
In fact, we found a photograph the other day of the kids when they were small kicking a rugby ball in the car park, and in the background is Millwood and the whole community sort of inland from us. And there is nothing
Forest
there. It's just bush.
Yeah.
There's 1 or 2 houses in Millwood, and we look now and think, wow, it's kind of changed a whole bunch, you know. There was none of this light industrial area other than the Coke factory. That was pretty much all that was down there. But things have changed. But you don't notice it when you see it every day.
Yeah.
You only notice it when you look back on something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've had fun.
Yeah.
It's been 25 years of just being loved by a great congregation and having had some phenomenal leaders work alongside us. Our elders and our church council, all of them come out of the top drawer. And so we've been blessed.
I've really loved the sort of organic growth that's taken place through the church as well, in terms of how our congregation has grown.
Yeah.
And it's a large part of that is just how we're situated here.
I think so. I think God uniquely put us on the hill. We're the highest point in the whole area around us. So we're literally the church on the hill, you know. And if you look out of the one window, you look down onto the affluence of the coastline and the beautiful holiday homes and people having fun on the beach. And you look out the other window and you look into the face
poverty,
of abject poverty and dysfunctional lives and gangs and drugs and all that sort of stuff. And in the wake of the HIV pandemic, we sit between these two things. So we have the haves on the one side, the have-nots on the other side. We're surrounded by every color group, every cultural group that you could possibly imagine. And our church sits in the middle. So it's never been planned to be demographically representative of our community, but that's what's happened over the years, as we've just felt that God wants us to live outside of the walls of the church. And I think for many people, kind of church is what happens in a building. It happens on a Sunday morning, and for an hour and a half, depending on who's preaching. For many people, that's their perception of church. But over the course of the last 20 years, we have seen God just change us by changing the church. We've never programmed this. We never sat down and planned it, but God has made this happen. I think Genesis may have had quite a bit to do with it, but on the whole, it's God doing His stuff. So it's not the only way to do church, but it's our way. And it's unique to this area. So we're chuffed with that. Yeah,
it's been an amazing journey. I've done the history videos and things as well, and just for me to see how all of that has grown as well. It was amazing. And then obviously now we've got the new building coming up on the other side there.
Your sanctuary nearly finished.
We're looking forward to getting that done.
Looking forward to getting that thing done. And I think that will be the sort of philosophically will be the kickstart to the next generation. I won't be around for too long to enjoy that, but I do think that the next generation of young people and young pastors coming through our ranks, we've given them the tools to really make a big impact now. So up until now, it's just been creating capacity for ministry to happen, and we had some beautiful ministry, but I think over the course of the next 10 years, you're going to see us, and the young people that we invest in, the new pastors that we are hoping to bring onto the team here, along with us older guys easing out, the new guys easing in. I think we've created a tool for them to use that's going to make an enormous impact for the community in the future. So when we're old and grey, old and greyer, and we'll sit on the outside and watch this. You guys better not mess it up, okay?
Yeah.
Don't mess it up.
Yeah.
But it's been a privilege to be able to set the foundation for, as the Norwegian settlers did 130 something years ago.
Yeah.
They set the foundation for us to do what we do. So we're hoping now to establish a new, larger foundation for the next generation to do stuff. So we're confident.
Yeah. And obviously approaching the last phase of the building, we'll be doing a bit of a funding push, I believe.
We're nearly there, Phil. We're nearly there. In cash terms, this building would have cost us probably 30 million to build, and we're 80% there now. So we've got the last 20% to do. So we're looking at various ways to be able to do this, but it's been such an interesting journey, you know, for a community like ours to raise that kind of funding. And this is, as we often say, this is not Umhlanga Rocks.
Yeah.
This is Port Shepstone. And we have people earning minimum wages, and some people were earning no wages at all. And yet, by God's grace and through the generosity of incredibly kind people, we sit where we are. But it's just that last push now to get this thing done.
Yeah.
And we're really looking forward to that.
Yeah. The dream is to be in by Easter, eh?
Well, my dream was to be 3 Christmases ago, but I'm the eternal optimist. But I'd settle for Easter. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
If we can get in by Easter, that'll be amazing.
Yeah. Great. This last series, it's just changing track a little bit. Preaching series that we've gone through was Move That Mountain.
Yeah.
Kind of a walk through Ephesians.
Yeah. Ephesians is a great book, Phil. You could preach forever just on Ephesians. Every line has got a sermon in it. But we chose a theme that took the highlight of all 6 chapters and looked for a mountain in there because we've defined a mountain as being anything that stands in the way of the will of God for your life. And so we've looked at things like the mountain of defeat, the mountain of disillusionment, the mountain of despair. Each one of these on its own can trash your Christian experience. It's a mountain. And yet Jesus tells us by faith we can move those mountains. And so we've been looking at that series. I've enjoyed it. But I enjoy every series. At the end of every series, I come back and say, yes, that was what was the best one, until the next one. And every one that we ends up being the best one. Yeah. But this was a great series. I just think for me personally, it was a good one as well. Because, when you preach, you're often preaching at yourself. You've got to listen to your own sermons sometimes. But I think it's been a good series. Yeah,
there's been a very strong call to, especially in the last 3 messages, sort of that upper room living that's kind of come through very strongly.
Yeah, we got to up our game. Yeah. We've used this description of what took place in the upper room with Jesus and his disciples, and that Phil should be normal Christian living. The intimacy of knowing God like that, the intimacy of knowing God to the point that there's vulnerability and there's honesty and there's all those beautiful things that happened in the upper room, and that should be normal Christian living. We look at that and we think that's exceptional Christian living. It's not. That should be normal. But most of us hang around in the lower room. If we rearrange the furniture, we're happy. But that's not what God would want for us to be and to do and to live. So we've tried hard to talk about what upper room living looks like. And in the hopes that maybe, that might just... the truth is that we basically live between the 2 rooms. But we just want to be able to spend more time in the upper room than we did in the lower room, and slowly move our way up there. Yeah. But it was a great series. Yeah, did enjoy it.
Good. And then our next series coming on is we're starting on the 12 minor prophets. Eh?
Yeah, the 12 minor prophets get the short end of the stick, and not many people read them, not many people know who they are. Yeah. But they have a profound message. I was just saying to Errol the other day, and I asked him the significance of the number 12. And because every number has a different sort of significance. You've got the 12 tribes of Israel. You got 12 is an intriguing number. And Errol said, 12 is indicative of the laws of God being in their perfection, that you don't get better than God's way of doing stuff. And we have our way of doing it, and we often come short doing it our way. But 12 says, guys, listen, the message of these 12 prophets could revolutionize your life if we just lived by them. And I love the Old Testament. I love the history of it. I love the principles and the pictures and the parallels that we find in there. So I'm hoping that in our series of the 12 weeks in the Minor Prophets, that we'll get a major message that'll come out of this, out of this stuff. So this week we're doing Jonah, and we've entitled it "The Perfect Storm." Talking about Jonah in his life, the perfect storm, but that everything that could possibly go wrong came wrong, culminated in the perfect storm. And then we'll pick up from there, with some of the other prophets as well.
Awesome.
But it's going to be a good series.
Yeah. Great. And then towards the end of the year, this year, you're going to the US again, eh?
We have to do the US thing. I don't like to go every year. I think that's probably a little bit too much. But we've had the invitations. It doesn't cost us anything. The Americans are incredibly generous, so the church doesn't have to fork out for me to go. But it's good to go and connect with partners. We've got a couple of new partners we're visiting this year. So all I do is get to go to these churches, preach in their churches, and then tell the Genesis story, and just create opportunity for people to be able to buy in. And we don't go there to ask for money. We just go and tell our story. And God is gracious enough to bring people across our paths who then say, hey, I'm in. Can I, is there anything we can do to help you to be able to help this community, man? We can't sit in our little ivory towers. We can't sit in our little comfort zones when the world is dying and go to hell. We got to make some sacrifices. And so the congregations we talk to, we are blessed that many of them have bought in. And it's through the generosity of these good churches and companies and individuals that I connect with that we're able to do the Genesis thing. The Genesis thing continues to grow. I think 150 people are employed by Genesis, 15 different projects, each one helping to uplift community and to take Jesus to the people in a way that would be relevant to them. I don't think the community needs sermons so much as they need people to get in the gutter with them and live life with them. We love sermons. We love to preach, But I think sermons have their place, but there's no substitute for being present in the lives of the people. That's being with them, doing that kind of stuff. And it's not easy. It's hard. But we have a great team, a wonderful team of staff and volunteers who do this so beautifully.
That's where real ministry happens. That's being the hands and feet. And there have been some beautiful relationships, really meaningful relationships that have come out of your trips to the States.
Yes. And you see that epitomized by the teams that come at you. I don't know how many individuals. I think there were close to 400 volunteers last year. This next year, 2020, is already
fully booked,
way up there, And it's just bringing people from the States, and it's not so much that they come here to change us, but they leave changed people. It's crazy. They come here, we're going to change the world, but they're the ones that leave changed. And so it's a great service to them that we give them opportunity to minister it in areas like that. They would never get that opportunity to do that again. So the benefit is reciprocal. We benefit on the one hand because they help to finance our projects, and they benefit from the other. They get to come and serve here. So it's kind of like mutual benefit,
Awesome. Well, Trevor, our time is up. It was
thank you, Clovis, and to your team here. Thanks
for everyone listening. If you did miss any ones of the series, just pop onto our website, www.nsc.za.org, and click on watch at the top right, and you can catch up on any of the messages that you may have missed. Trev, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
We're gonna join Lizanne just now.
Thanks, Phil.
Alrighty, we're joined this morning by Lizanne, the one and only.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Liz.
Well, thanks for having me, Phil.
We were chatting just now. You've been busy with the Stedford with the
Yes,
your
my
Slanganani kids.
Slanganani kids.
Yeah.
It's a group of youngsters from grade 4 to 7, and they're just so passionate about what they do.
Yeah.
And they did really well at the Eisteddford.
Awesome.
And I think the highlight for them was getting a standing ovation from Sheppey High. They look up to Sheppey High. They love Sheppey High. When Sheppey High walks in, their eyes light up. So to get a standing ovation from Sheppey High was it for them. So
and you were saying this afternoon this morning you're going to Millwood?
Millwood Secondary. So we're going to do
choir, hey?
Yeah, we've got a choir there, and they're coming along. It's a little different in a high school. It's different behavior, but I think they're doing well as well. We just want to, show, just capture them and maybe just expose them a little to, the rest of the world, just to see what's happening in Millwood Secondary. And, nothing too exciting about that for yet.
Well, for our listeners, we see you on stage every Sunday, so I thought we'd just do a little introduction as well, if people don't know much about you.
Yes, you see this big girl on the stage, yeah.
So tell us where you came from, where you went to school, how you grew up, anything that stands out.
Wow.
How did you get into music? Tell me about that.
Okay. I'm a Sheppey girl. I was born in Port Shepstone, and my dad is my biggest influence when it comes to music, because he used to play the organ at church, and I've heard stories of him getting into trouble with his parents because he would be playing the accordion after school, and they would call him to do chores, and he would ignore them and do his thing. And so I grew up watching him and my aunt and my uncle and different people in the worship team. And honestly, I didn't really think I would ever do this. I was quite happy being a guitarist in the band when I first came to the church. But Pastor Trevor had different plans, hey? So here I am. And I went to Marburg Secondary. And I also had people influence me there. Mr. Reddy, he was our principal at the time. And he heard me sing, and he took me to the Catholic Church for an event that was happening there, and that was one of my first experiences singing, in a different environment. And but I was ready to talk about Music Academy Phil, not me.
We'll get there. And musically, your influences, obviously, you said your dad. We always have this back and forth, Beatles and Elvis.
Elvis all the way, people. Elvis Presley is my man. He's the reason I'm not married, because I was born too late. And so I love Elvis Presley. And my family, I remember falling off to sleep and waking up to Jim Reeves, Percy Sledge, Elvis Presley, Patsy Cline, that kind of music. And my grandmother, she loved country music. And I think she influenced me quite a lot as well. And my mom as well sings. She doesn't like to talk about it, but she sings as well. And I think it's rare. It's very rare, especially in I don't mean to feel bad. I just say something bad, but when it comes to an Indian family, music is not really something that we usually say, go to school, go become a doctor, go do accounting or something like that. But it's so nice to feel the support of my family, and they just encourage me to keep doing the things that I'm doing. So that's amazing. I love that.
I don't know. From obviously an outside perspective, I see a lot of Indian families that are very musically gifted.
Well, back in the day when I was a little one, that was rare. Okay, even if it wasn't, let's believe it was, okay?
But I think there's always been, at least in the families that I've had contact with, like a tradition of singing together, or somebody that likes doing karaoke, or
oh wow, Phil, you need to introduce me to these people, hey? We always used to joke about that. Well, not joke about it. It was something that we would love. Like my dad would always say, imagine if all our family members, the musical ones and the non-musical ones, but we could get together and form kind of like a Gaither band.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been amazing. But yeah, that's something we wish we could do. That is why when you speak about these families, I'm just like, where they at? Let me know. Yeah.
And then towards the end of the year, I think it's about 2 months' time, you and Ethan are going over to the US. Eh?
Yeah, we're going over to the US.
Tell us a bit more about that. What you
We're going to go and, it's a twofold purpose. This trip has a twofold purpose. We want to go and, just tell people about Music Academy, what we do, and the fact that we need to really upgrade our current premises. We need equipment. We need to be able to take multiple kids at a time because the need is great in the community. And so we need to go there to, hopefully have my dream is for some person in the congregation or whoever we speak to just say to us, we want to come alongside you guys and help you do what you do in South Africa, just to do something for the community. And people in America are blessed with a stronger currency, so it would be nice if we had a few dollars. And the other purpose is to go as a worship team, just members of the worship team, and observe, amazing church bands,
the partners,
and see how they go about doing, the things that they do and what makes them a strong team, and how their practices work, just little technical things. Because, as I said, I've never ever pictured myself doing something like this, so I want to equip myself and my team to the best of my ability. And this is my opportunity to go and learn from people who know what they're doing.
I know you're going to spend a bit of time at Grace Church in St. Louis with Caleb Kruger, who came out here a couple of years back and spent, it was quite a while, a month or two with us. Fantastic. I know you're really going to love spending time with him.
I've heard a lot about Caleb. I can't wait to meet him. I did see him one Sunday. I came into the church. I think we just arrived. I'm not too sure, but he sang the song "Beautiful Things." Yeah, I remember him. Oh, beautiful voice. So I can't wait to meet
Caleb
him.
and Ashley, fantastic couple. They really are.
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
And then going to Music Academy, you're saying community programs. Obviously, we've heard you doing the choirs in the schools.
Yeah.
What other involvements have you got there?
When we talk about Music Academy, I could say that we teach the community, kids of all age, actually people of all ages, across the board, how to play the guitar, piano, drums, vocal training. As I said, we go into schools and develop choirs, and certain worship teams come to us for band development and all of that stuff. But that is a serious understatement, Phil, because it is so much more. I mean, music alone is known for its benefits to us as human beings. I mean, I've seen studies that say that music improves your memory and your reading skills. It strengthens bonds. Musicians are able to process multiple things at once. There's also a study, guys, that actually brain scans show that there's this massive bundle of nerve fibers that connect the two sides of your brain, called the corpus callosum or something, callosum. And they actually found that this thing is bigger in the brain of musicians than it is in non-musicians. Now, if we look at all of those things and then Jesus walks into the mix, lives change. So Music Academy, there's so many stories of kids that have come through our doors that have had their lives change. I mean, from small ways to massive ways. I mean, I can think of a kid just on Thursday last week. We have a youngster that comes to us for drum lessons, and it was a miracle to get him to listen or to just pay attention for 10 minutes. that was a good day, actually, if we got him to pay attention for 10 minutes. And because he would get distracted, he would talk about his pet lizards and his frogs and his dogs, and then talk about the color of the wall and stuff. And this past Thursday, we actually had his mom walk in to say, hey guys, time's up. And that was 40 minutes into the lesson. And that was amazing. I didn't even realize myself. And we just kept going. And then we have, a story like Sfundo. Sfundo Nzama, a young kid that I met back in 2014. He came to us with a group of kids from the St. Martin's orphanage home, the orphanage in, I think, near Orabi Gorge.
Yeah.
So that group of kids used to come to us every Wednesday afternoon. And we would dedicate the whole afternoon to them because we knew they made a long trek down here. And Sfundo tried his hand at guitar. And at that time, we didn't have the jumbo guitars. So those guitars, Sfundo's fingers are that thick, Phil. So he tried, I think he got frustrated, so he went to piano. He did well, but it wasn't his thing. And then he discovered the drums. And now Sfundo's the drummer in our church. Yeah. And he's an intern at Music Academy. And the biggest thing, I think, in his life has happened this year. He was the face of the Anthem Project alongside Chad. And he got to sing with a Philharmonic Orchestra last week and wear his first tuxedo. Yeah. So, his life has changed. He's struggled a lot in his life. And we just thank God for the things that he's done in that young man's life. And there's so many different stories of kids that have come with self-esteem problems as well. Now, when it comes to self-esteem, who better to get advice from than a child that was considered the fat kid in school? And kids come. The young lady I think about is Faith. You've met Faith, hey?
Yeah, I remember her from
so
the
Faith is a young
contest.
girl. Yeah, she's from Twalumi. And Faith was born with a whole lot of medical problems. She didn't, I think they didn't give her many years to live. And she was blind and stuff, and her bones were not strong. I think they were kind of rubbery. But over the years, there was a miracle. She started to walk, she can see, and she loves singing. So she came to me for vocal training, and I just watched this little girl just blossom into this butterfly, and her self-esteem and the way she speaks, just blew up. And now she's got her own choirs in Amtulumi. Yeah. She's doing her thing. And I'm very proud of that young lady. Yeah,
music has a tremendous power to sort of cross boundaries and
definitely.
And as you say, empower people.
Definitely.
It really does cross boundaries. I don't know what else to say.
That's it.
Breaks down walls. Everyone understands it.
And it makes you happy, Phil. Yeah. You know what? I was looking at this the other day because I was thinking, hey, because you know what, speaking, especially public speaking, is not my thing. You can call me to sing, I can sing, but speaking, oh my gosh, I'm far more eloquent in my dreams. But I was looking at how to, improve your speaking skills, your spatial skills, your memory skills, and there's a whole lot of brain apps that come up on Google Play, and you can download that, and lots of people do that. But you know what? Music is a far more complex and rich experience. If people can actually learn how to play an instrument, it even increases your blood flow to your brain. It helps your brain recover. There's so many benefits. It helps your analytical, your problem solving, all of that stuff. Yeah. Music is amazing. Yeah. And you can come and learn how to play the
even with things like math. There's so much mathematics in music. Yeah. It's all patterns and multiples and
let me tell you something. We tried something last year. Well, this year I've been a bit busier than I thought. But last year we had this class on a Saturday morning, and I called it musical maths because I would include like singing memory, memory skills, all of that. So we did that. And one youngster from Marburg Secondary, his mom's a teacher as well. His math marks improved, I think it was 24% when he came. And the second term, it went up to 56%. That's a massive increase, improvement. And I don't think I'm that amazing as a teacher, but I think that,
definitely had some effects,
music,
yeah.
well. But I think the music element helped. I think it was just a different technique, Kids just, if you grab their attention and you keep them engaged, it helps. It does. So he's my biggest, I've seen the biggest improvement with him. But he's not the only one. Oh, my word. I just wish there was more time in the day and the week to be able to do that stuff. Yeah.
Well, Liz, thank you. Our time has flown by. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you on stage again. And your trip to the US will be phenomenal.
Oh, thanks.
Just for the guys that are listening, are there any needs that the people can pray for, or are you looking for help anywhere?
Yeah, I did mention that we're wanting to expand. We want to build an academy that can deal with the numbers of kids on a day-to-day basis, and we need funds for that, definitely. And we need for the Lord to just touch somebody's heart and, get them involved and help us build this music academy. Also, just, for us as tutors, when we go out into the community and we deal with the different kids and their problems and the emotional side of this, I didn't speak much about it, but the kids out there are really, really suffering. It's not just there's so much going on in the community, and I think there's something about us, or just the way we are, or the fact that we're musicians, people feel they can talk to us. And the things that we hear sometimes, and we have to deal with these things, and we have to pray for the kids. And sometimes I'm just stunned. I don't know what to do. But God has never let me down at all. He's always been there. And I pray for strength and for wisdom, to be able to be what I'm needed to be at that time to that child, and for my team as well. Probably have many more prayer requests, but none of them are coming to me right now. Oh, and another request is for me to lose at least 10 kilos before I sit in that aeroplane. So pray for me, people. Thank you and thanks for the opportunity. And if anybody wants to get in touch with us,
are you guys on Facebook?
We are
Instagram?
on Facebook. I'm not too sure. Are we on Instagram, Ethan? No, not yet. Well, that's going to change. We're going to be on Instagram. We are on YouTube as well, if you want to check us out. Just
we'll put links on the bottom
Genesis
of our
Music Academy. Yeah, and you can always SMS. There's an SMS line. Can I give it now?
Yes, yeah.
071-600-8546. And I will get back to you as soon as I can.
Awesome.
Thank you, Phil.
If you do like the video, please just hit us a like at the bottom there and comment. We'd love to hear from you. If there's anything you'd like us to chat about in the future. Trev, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.